Raw Aussie Athlete.
Stretching was something that always confused me. I could never get good answers. People would say you have to stretch before running, you have to stretch after running, don't stretch too much. I don't know, it was very confusing. But the conclusions I've come to, and I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong, you have to come up with your own conclusions, but I'll go through some of the thought processes behind why or why not. I've found that static stretching, which is where you just hold a stretch, like touching your toes, just bending down, touching your toes and just holding it, doing that is no good if your muscles aren't warmed up, because cold muscles don't stretch, basically. And it's just not going to do you any favors. So I prefer to go out and just warm up through being active. So just go out light jogging, or you can do dynamic stretching, like holding a fence railing and then just swinging legs back and forth. Some sort of dynamic stretching where there's movement, you're going through the range of motion, but not holding a stretch still. So, but stretching is most effective after activity, I find. And even then, I don't always stretch after activity. A good friend of mine who's a physiotherapist, he told me, he's an amazing runner as well, and he told me his thoughts on stretching, and he said, I don't care when I stretch. I don't care if it's before activity, after activity, as long as I'm going through the full range of motion for the movements that I want to perform in my life, as long as I'm going through the full range of motion for those activities at least like 2 or 3 times a week, then I've covered my stretching requirements. So what I tend to do is I'll go out for a run, and then I'll take a warm-up period when I'm training, and then I'll go out and do whatever the running is, whether it's interval running or hard run. And then towards the end, I'll really stride out, really like fast, hard, long strides, just for, 200 meters even. It doesn't have to be very far. Just to go through that full range of motion. You're already warmed up, it's at the end of your run, and you're going through that range of motion, opening up everything. Your arms are going to swing harder, and you just, yeah, and then you feel like that's going through all the stretching I need to do for running. There are theories out there that if you that a runner is basically, hitting the ground with a stride and then springing off the ground. And so a more tightly coiled spring is going to have more bounce. So so if you're more flexible, you're going to have a looser spring. If it's a tighter muscle, less flexible muscle, then it's going to be able to push off harder. So they say it's more efficient for runners, and especially over long distances, to have tighter muscles and to not be flexible. So a lot of runners, you'll find that they have tight hamstrings, and that helps them with their running. So, I find that I don't want to be that tight that I can't touch my toes, because then if I want to go rock climbing, I can't get my legs up high I can't stretch and get into weird positions. So for me, I prefer to have a balance of flexibility, but I don't want to be hyper mobile or super flexible in my joints, because it's not going to have a positive impact on my running. So that's my tip for today, stretching. Hope you found something useful in it, and I look forward to seeing you for the next tip.
Like, subscribe, visit, add, and follow Raw Aussie Athlete.